Hey guys, it's Lord here, back in with another action figure review. Today we'll be taking a look at the Masters of the Universe Origins Amazon exclusive. Oh, Jajam. Not too much though. This is relatively easy to obtain. But today we're going to be taking a look at, is it the final member of the Evil Horde from the vintage line? I want to say yes it is. We have Multibot, the robot of 1,000 forms or 1,000 bodies or what have you. The evil robot of 1,000 bodies or 1,000 forms, what have you. This of course brought to us by the fine folks over at Mattel and has been a long time coming in the Origins line. I don't know why it took us so long to get this guy. We've had Modulok for well over a year at this point. And I will say, while my Multibot doesn't appear to have the QC issues that some folks have had, it is far from a perfect figure and suffers some of the same issues as Modulok. So before we get too far ahead of ourselves, why don't we cut right to the chase and get into the meat and taters of this review and take a look-see at all Multibot has to offer in terms of accessories, starting off with a crap ton of these tubers. There are a couple different kinds. There are some with their flat end there. There's some where both ends are kind of hollowed out. Imagine there's 3 of each of these. Okay, so there's 3 of those. What about these other ones? Well, there's a ton of these, and there's only 1 of these. So there's 5 of those, 1 of these. Oh, no, there's 2 of these. There's 2 of these. There's 5 of the other one. It looks like, anyways. Or is there 6? No, there's 5. And then we have 2 of these, which are vaguely similar to the Modulok arm and neck connectors. We also got a bag. Now, they ain't come in this bag. I swiped this from my Mythic Legion's Rising Suns all in. But we got all these little pegs. All these different little pegs. Which, if you don't throw them in a bag like this, you're probably going to lose like half of them. Got instructions that tell you how to rip your figure apart. No mini-comic. I forget if Modulok had a mini-comic. We got a shield that doubles as a tool to pop the joints apart, much like Modulok had. Get a blaster that you can pop in half and plug together this way if you want to make a longer rifle with a barrel on each end, so I would be careful trying to shoot that sucker. And of course we get the other pair of legs. So we get a little bit more than we did with Modulok. I don't think we got 2 torsos with him, and means to actually have 2 separate figures. But as far as this guy goes, it's the same connectors as Modulok. He's got the ball sockets there. Of course there are ball sockets here and here. And the articulation on the legs is standard. It's the ball joint with the swivel knee, single jointed knee, which I had to heat up like most of the hinges on mine. I think there was 1 pair of elbows and 1 pair of knees I didn't have to heat up, but all the other ones I had to heat up, so keep that in mind. It does have a boot cut, it's got ankle rocker, and it has an ankle hinge, but it doesn't really do much anything because of the way the foot's shaped, although you can kind of wedge it and get it where you want. But there you go. There is Modulok's leg articulation, or Multibot's leg articulation, excuse me. But taking a look at the first guy here, as far as the rest of the articulation goes, not for nothing, are the legs the same? No, they're not. Because these ones have loose-ish knees. Loose-ish. I mean, he's got like freaking 6 legs, so it ain't that big a deal. But as far as the rest of his articulation goes, both these guys have a ball joint in the head, or a double ball joint, as well as a single ball joint in the waist. This one is not too loose on mine. The other one is kind of loose, so that kind of sucks, but whatever. Single jointed elbows with rotation. And then this guy has the correct hinge for holding stuff, but it's pretty loose, going up and down. So I just tend to point them to the side, and that pretty much gets the job done. This one might be able to hold the blaster, okay, but the other one not so much. And this guy, I had to heat up these elbows. Like, these did not want to move at first. Of course, his leg articulation is the same. He's got the tank tread feet, or the wheel feet, excuse me. And as far as their range goes, they get a little bit better range than just a regular foot, so that's nice. You can move that back and forth. You can move this back and forth. That's all fine and dandy. But that is this guy, whatever his name is. Guess we'll call him Matthew. Call him Matthew for now. And then we got this guy, who I guess we'll name Jimbo. And his articulation's the same. But I will say his waist swivel is a little bit looser. But it doesn't bother me that much. I don't know. It's not falling out. It snaps in there okay. It's just a little bobbly. So, you know, maybe some Elmer's glue or Kiki's or some crap. That'll fix that right up. That said, his knees I actually had to heat. Even though they don't seem the tightest now, they were when I opened him. He's got the tank tread feet. He's got the best range out of all the ankles. Albeit with probably the weakest ankle rocker because of the way they had to put the peg into the foot. There you go. It's pretty cut and dry as far as that goes. Elbows on him worked out of the package. And he's got the best hands for holding the shield. Of course, his head can bobble around. That said, as far as combining Multibot, see the peg sticking out of Jimbo's ass there. Just take this pair of legs and pop it together like so. So now you got a four-legged robot. Then we take Matthew. We got the peg sticking out of his ass. We plug that together. And it literally looks like Matthew and Jimbo are having butt sex to stay together. Kind of like the real life Matthew and Jimbo. Kidding, of course. But there you go. There is Multibot combined. And with his powers combined, they can do questionable activities in the hot tub, I guess. But that is it for Multibot. He is Multibot. I mean, I don't know what else you want. For the price point, you can do a lot worse. You can also do a lot better, like all those Mythic Legions I looked at not too long ago. But hey, with the way things are now, it's nice to get a 2-pack of figures and not have to drop more than 40 bucks on them. That said, in true Overlord Productions fashion, we do have the Classics comparison to discuss here. So why don't I move this Multibot over? I'll bring this Multibot in, courtesy of my good buddy Evil Villain. Always coming through with the Gucci shit. But yeah, there is the Classics Multibot alongside the new Multibot. Kind of looks like Classics Multibot got drunk there. There we go. It's a little dusty, but didn't cost me much of anything, so I'll take it. But there you go. Almost the same size, which is actually the Origins one is taller. That's bizarre. I don't know why that is, but the Origins one is taller, so you could almost use this figure with Masterverse if you wanted to. Is this a Masterverse release? I don't know anymore. I didn't expect it to tower over the Classics version. That's nuts. Huh. just like Tony's nuts. Use discount code Overlord to save 10% at checkout. Either way, getting this guy out of the way, or these guys, who are, I'm going to say, a little bit more fun than these two. A little bit more solid. I still can't believe this Origins release is taller than that. That's nuts. But they have an upscaling Origins, so maybe he's meant to go with those. Either way, before we wrap this up, we bring in our two regulars. We have the Mythic Legion's Brother Manibelith right here. And the infamous 11th Spawn, who, I'm not sure at this point, is neck and neck with fricking Multibot. If not, Multibot is just a hair taller than good old Al Simmons here. What is going on, man? What is this world coming to? All I'm going to say is, you're messing with the order! You don't go messing with the order! If you get it, you get it. If you don't, suck it. So, with that being said, it's time now that we wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, and aside from the various quality control issues this figure seems to be riddled with, granted, I seem to have gotten a much better example than some folks out there, but that is besides the point. I think if you're looking to complete the vintage line in Origins form, good old Multibot here is a must-have. And for the price point, you could do a lot worse. We've gotten plenty of exclusives and whatnot, Transformers crossover figures, I'm looking at you, for the same price that don't offer you nearly as much. Granted, those don't have the same issues as this guy, but my point being, you get a lot in the box for what you're paying for. So, with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this review. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later.